signs means and then saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, but vehicle signs, when parked or stored on property or street for the purpose of identifying a business or advertising a product.
Which page, Lori?
I'm sorry, that was 80.
80, okay.
Middle page 12. So what's a vehicle sign? Is that a vehicle that is paint?
That's where I think they were probably going with the definition is something that is parked and advertising. Like sometimes you see on the side of I-5, the semi truck or trailer or.
So I was thinking of this for like our mobile food trucks that go park in their driveways at home or the trailer. If they exceed that size and they're parked in the same general location for a period exceeding, or the same block face for a period exceeding 72 hours. It's just like advertising a business somewhere. Is that
Yeah. And well, yeah. And,
a vehicle sign?
okay. And I'll check once I clarify that definition.
We were, are they parking food truck
Nope, in their drive,
in their drive?
in their front yard setbacks. They
Well,
don't
it's a
fit,
big
they don't fit in the garage.
group. Well, we have vehicle codes. More and more I'm seeing for park trailers, boats.
And semi trucks parking in RP zones
Mhm.
or in R zones, so you have full blown semi trucks parking, like right across from the museum, the weed, and it's grown up with weeds and it's the old building and there's a semi truck.
You see semi trucks all weight limitations on streets for a reason, because it destroys.
Is that for just the cab or the trailer?
There's let's see, what are the weights? I'm trying to think.
Gross vehicle weight.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think. Okay. A tractor, no, a tractor used to be unlawful. Still is.
Yeah.
Wait, but what are the weight?
I do
That
not
is-
know.
Is it 10? Is it 5 ton?
Because temporary signs, so
I did, I
Yeah.
mentioned it. What was your
Listen.
comment?
Just what that. I think you already talked about.
yeah,
That's earlier in the definition.
but yeah, clarifying that,
Temporary sign. Yeah, temporary sign is on page
Definitely.
79, right in the middle.
it says you need a permit and then under.
Under
Yes.
exempt.
Anything else on 81? So we're going to remove the flags.
Will be an exempt.
Flags will be prohibited. Mhm.
Flags or feathers?
Feather
Feather-
flags.
But so flags won't show up as an exempt sign.
Depending on what we've got to change the definition, I think, if we leave it as is for a flag.
So probably as we look at the definitions and our concerns, going back and really looking at this exempt section to say what's truly exempt. Or ideally to be business friendly and everything, the more we can have as exempt signs would be better, right? If we're trying to make it more streamlined, easier. But I think that's our test, right? After all the discussion, it's exempt.
I don't think flags should be on the exempt.
I was just gonna think, what about
What
language
kind of
is
flag?
correct? Let's not be exempting American flag.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, that's
that wouldn't be a
But-
sign.
Well, it says flag.
the definition of
I think
flags.
that needs to be defined
the
because
thing.
everybody
that's
ought to be able to fly an American flag. I know I do.
No, that's not. That's the problem with the definition.
Yeah.
It's too vague.
Yeah.
It doesn't state.
It needs to specify that American flags are allowed.
Yeah. So
I didn't see it in there.
No.
You might have, but I didn't. see
No,
it.
just on the notes. No. So we'll get
Okay.
the feather flags and then redefine a flag, which it could be an advertisement and excluding obviously the American flag state or
I would say American flag and state flag. And I asked about state flag.
And I would not.
I don't know what's a flag
I would
anymore.
not
I used to. I don't anymore. Anyway, it's a different.
But yeah, we'll clarify that. Anything else on 81? Nope. 82.
$83 once,
Oh,
3 times.
Oh,
hang on, let me read.
you mentioned 83.
We were still on 82.
Yeah,
right?
no, I just, well, when you do get to 83, and I've seen this in a couple other spots that I got to mention. Remember those ridiculous backwards zones, descriptions, CG, CC,
Mm-hmm.
backwards. They're showing up backwards in some.
Need to be
documents.
corrected throughout.
Yeah.
Okay.
That needs, yeah, because there are a couple of different pages.
Absolutely.
We passed one a few pages ago, but on page 83 under 18.5 point, down toward the bottom,
Yeah.
definition
PH.
standard backwards,
We'll hunt those down.
and it just drives me nuts.
So you're saying that,
My OCD kicks in.
I mean,
Yeah, it's CH. It's,
Like
you know,
for
it's a
highway commercial, it does
it's commercial
CH.
highway.
And Amy corrected it to HC, so it
Yeah.
actually.
General
matches
commercial is
that.
CG. It's backwards.
So we'll make sure all those match up throughout.
Light industrial.
It's ridiculous. I don't.
And as a note too, from our planning commission meeting of review, we will be changing everything to a gender neutral statement out of all the he's we had in here too. So do those noted, that'll be changed throughout the municipal code.
So all sign permits, the way this is written, all sign permits come in and have the potential to be administratively reviewed and at the discretion of the city manager or planning, however, they can that it needs design review, a conditional use permit.
Yep.
Kind of how that flows.
Well, if you guys are good with 83
83,
now,
under the general standards number, the permanent freestanding sign shall obstruct the sight visibility distance area intersection driveway. The Elite Barber Shop used the same location of their sign, which obstructs.
So what we need to do with this then is probably link it back to what our design standards and building permit says, because if it is outside, again, this is subjective language construction, but we do have defined dimensions to measure out what obstruction section.
Well, yes, and I'm sure that sign was okay at the time, but in a subcompact or compact or even a regular sized car, I have to pull out
Yep.
a long ways to see what's coming from the west.
It's
In my SUV, I do not have to do that. Or a truck, you can see over the sign. And I even pointed that out to the owner. I made him get in my car and look. And it's still there. But anyway,
had no,
I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that now, but to me, this is very important, especially on a busy street, that there is a sign that no sign should obstruct cross.
No, you're right, Keith,
I
because
think you're fine.
there are and have been signs just like that in the city, and it shouldn't be that way. It's dangerous.
Correct.
So I think what we need to modify then is our construction standards on how we placement of. That's all, like this statement is only enforceable to the point of the construction. So that makes, this is a subjective matter. When we come, it's the same with having the fence come down. Right, so we've got measurements of a radius at an intersection to where we say you be outside of this. And the height requirement. So we would really need to look at those specifications and standards and alter them, because where that sign is currently meets that it's outside of that.
Because it's going to be hard
Radius.
to subcompact or somebody pulls up in their Corvette, they're definitely not going to be. seeing
And I
traffic
agree,
signs.
half of Willows agrees that sign.
But I don't
not-
want to change our sign laws for 0.1% of the vehicles drive through that section.
So
If that makes sense.
No,
But I understand
that,
what you're
but
saying.
Is there any way for the once we change this for non-conforming signs to have time frame set up so that they have to start conforming?
It is conforming, I guess. There's no, so with this language, yeah, so what we would want to do is leave this here because it's a subjective material and then
Yes.
go look at the design standards, which are outside of the municipal code and see if we can alter those design standards. Limit back. So if we leave this in, you're basically saying that you're making it that the obstruct vehicle site, it is defined within our design. So that sign is
We have to address it
legal
somewhere in the
else.
code.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's okay. But I was
Yeah.
also going to add in this area where the possibility of obstruction is, can we get input from anyone in public safety, like highway patrol or the sheriff's department or the local police when we,
Well, and it may be a Caltrans standard that we're
Or-
operating on. So I would need to go look at those design standards. It may be set in stone that this is what the standard is. So yeah, we would have to go and look. We could absolutely ask for it. And what we would do, those people, without even talking to them, we're all going to have their best practices. It would probably, yeah, we can look at other local jurisdictions, got more restrictive language. Yeah,
well, on that sign that I doubt if the highway patrol car can see over.
I doubt it. Yep.
The one thing though is on the next page, on page 86, section 18.125.190, non-conforming signs, essentially says that they get to stay there.
Dick,
Mhm.
Non-conforming.
It
Oh,
does,
if
it
they're
does,
already-
it
if they're
does
there
go down
after
in
the-
non-conforming sign. So if we do change the building codes, the construction code,
Design standards,
Yeah.
it would be moving forward.
yeah,
I think that would need a site visit.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we have looked at
It
it.
needs to be,
Yeah.
it needs to be, is safety.
Yeah. And so we'll look at those construction standards and I'll do a double check to make sure that, because as I remember it, it met those, what we have on our construction out of that line of sight
Yeah, because I know
corner.
the permitting process requires when they do change the sign like that, they have to go through the entire permitting process, and we had to do it for our office. And
Yeah. Face
had to
for
go out with
face.
a little sketchbook and draw it all
well,
up.
I was thinking of Woodson, if you get the highway patrol involved, then not the.
Yeah.
yard.
Well, really, it is a Caltrans issue, but it's
Then they had a feather flag up that said open, and if you were parked, the sign was there, and then the feather flag was there.
Yeah.
So you really couldn't.
I think that
Couldn't
it's hopefully
be
down
there.
now, right? And his sign was blinking for a little bit.
Do we track sign permits? I mean, are they tracked by address, by location? I mean,
As far as, so they would go in the building file or the planning file when they're approved for
I
that
just,
specific
'cause at
address.
one point when our office was there way back, we actually had a pole sign. So we had so whoever came in after us put that monument sign
Mhm.
in. That would have been the first time that those calculations.
Were made, yeah. And so if it went through the process correctly, up in there slash plan.
So is that what we go back to? Like when these questions come up, we would go back to the first time
We can look into it.
was shooter.
Yeah. Yep.
Not surprised.
Yeah, and that can happen. But yeah, absolutely. So there's in Wood Street
No,
has
'cause there is some, but there is some signing, and I think I was reading it earlier, where if there was an already existing sign, as long as it wasn't, you're not changing the lighting on it, then you can just upgrade the sign without needing to
Correct.
pull the permit.
So who
But since we changed our lighting, we all
face for
deleted
face.
already? California Engineering or. whatever
Yeah,
the
he
name
does.
is.
Fit his sign in.
Just curious when the people first put that line. They have.
Evan, thank you for pointing out. This says they should be brought into conformance or removed, but there's not a timeline there.
Mhm.
I think there should be.
Are we
Because,
talking about previously installed non-compliance?
well, it says any non-conforming sign needs to be brought into conformance or removed.
What page is that?
86 at the
86,
bottom.
down toward the bottom.
And on 87, it's the non-conforming they remove or it in order to where at the time specified.
That has a 6 month.
Reasonable.
limit.
I
What's that?
like that. What is that?
Maybe we need to say 30 days, 60 days.
Non-conforming signs,
But you-
owner of a non-conforming sign shall within 6 months notification. So we've got a 6 month limit at the bottom there. Number 1,
What page?
86, 18-125-190. Number 1.
Okay.
Sign shall within 6 location,
Remove.
non-conformity either remove.
Shouldn't that be something when they purchase a building and they recognize?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of get in.
No, where does it fall on the person selling? the place?
So, I mean, it's kind of, to me, comes into the fact of when somebody buys a house, we don't make sure it's up to California. Right? That was there, obviously. Looks at that. But we don't usually go back unless it's a health and safety risk and modify it. If it was legal when they put it in, most of the time it's like we see a lot of grant. Entryway district, we're not going to house. So, but it is a slippery slope.
You
And,
can't grant. Yes. This,
I mean, this does say with non-conforming signs that prior to the adoption of this chapter, they may continue in use subject to the provision of the section, even when later amendments to this chapter. Signs not lawfully existing prior to the adoption. Basically, Mayor Hudson was saying everything before is good. Everything, signs not lawfully existing prior to this chapter, meaning everything moving forward, you cannot install it. So it's all L previous is allowed. And legally, I think that's, we'd have
I
to,
think you got a general idea of what we're trying to get at though. So when you go back to that. This is
so
on
we
the,
wanna
on
go
the
back to
signs,
people
right?
that,
Like,
okay.
no, but just making sure that they are conforming, right?
But
May-
do we
maybe-
go to a person that's got, so we want to be able to enforce and say, hey, this was okay when you did it, but you need to change it now? Is that what to do?
I think in certain areas, especially.
If it's public safety, then it would be a code of
Yeah.
it.
And that's my only concern. I'm not here to nickel and dime and make sure that every little square inch is accounted for.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But if the sign is, let's say, blocking your path line,
Yeah.
and it could be a
If it's a
public
hazard.
safety issue.
Absolutely.
Then that's the only time where I would say, hey, it's not.
That like a building and
Yes.
something.
Yeah, a hazard.
So
But sometimes
I think
there's
we're
some
good to-
towns that have historic signs, like Marysville has a bunch of historic signs that are really cool. And if they touch them to fix them, they're like old neon, like Rosser's rodeo store in downtown is really cool. And if they touch it, like the way our code was written, they're not allowed to fix it. They either have to remove it or they can leave it. But we figured out a way to change the code so that they could fix it and leave it. It's non-conforming because it's historic.
well, and they
Yeah.
can get
it's like a,
obtain
you
a
know-
new permit with variances to allow for.
I mean, that might be a circumstance, though, I guess,
Yeah.
where you would want to allow adding to the character and charm of the community,
Yeah.
right? But it's non-conforming, but
Yeah.
it's neon
And
or
that's probably
something.
like, I'm assuming maybe even our building. I'm sure it had a really beautiful sign on it that probably
did.
flashed and did all
It
sorts
did.
of cool little things.
It's probably non-conforming.
Put a lot of
Probably
light-
not, probably non-conforming, but
Let's bring it back,
the
though.
historical downtown Willows aspect of that, we may want that back in. So that's where the variances would qualify.
User-friendly
So
common
I think we're
sense.
good with that. So I'm ready to move on.
Type of provision though for like when it changes hands, like the barber shop, like if it was non-conforming prior, but then it changes, needs to conform moving forward.
Not the way it currently. I mean, so what I would worry about is the gas station. $100,000 sign. Now that's so sales. So the slippery slope of do it for this because it's minor and do it for this because it's and I think that's the way that it's written. Like normally, nothing would get updated until the sign. Say the barber shop would have not done a face for face, have a monument sign. It would then go through.
Because that's how we were.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure that I actually had to scoot it over 3 inches to make sure it had enough offset
Out of the zone.
from.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
It is.
Slippery slope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But we can definitely check out what we can do. Having some teeth, putting something in here that,
The public safety.
yeah,
Full sign at the AM/PM is not a public safety
Safety
issue.
No, yeah, let's not be difficult.
I don't know. I keep flipping pages back and forth.
I got mixed up.
Yeah, just as long as we're.
We
not-
were on 86 and then we switched over to 87.
Yes.
So we are on,
Not far.
we're on
Is that all?
87.
So fast.
Yeah, we're going. We're getting through it. On
87.
87. Section 2.
I thought we're on 97.
Yeah.
83, 84 and 85.
Anything with
Oh.
87s has pretty much stayed the same.
Questions about 84 and 80,
Yeah.
84 and 85.
Oh, yeah.
We jumped around, so let's jump back.
Go ahead.
So at the bottom of 84, commercial signs, pole-mounted signs shall be identity signs and may include a message. It may include the message open 24 hours in case of service station, restaurant occupancies. The term vacancy or no vacancy in case of hotels. Turn it to page 85. For central commercial, it's a 30-foot tall pole sign. Total square footage of all identity signs shall not exceed 1.5 square feet each linear foot. Building front.
Mhm.
Then it says 60 square feet of incidental sign area is also allowed. What is that?
For the incidental sign area or overall.
So this would be the sign that goes on the building.
Yep. So the sign that goes on the building, basically it's stating that for every square foot of frontage, you have the total square footage of the sign shall not exceed square feet. So if you've got 30 square feet of frontage on it, then you would be at 15 square feet.
And that's normally for
Has to. Be. And then then the exception is
the incidental.
signage is also allowed.
And the definition of incidental sign means a sign pertaining to and advertising goods, prices, products, services, or facilities which are available on the premises.
Yep. So you
Such
take
signage in addition.
Joanne's Boutique, flowers, basket, identity, business name, and offer. But it is all based off of a formula. Meant to be bigger building, you get the bigger. Without going for a conditional use on a bigger sign on any of this, you have the option to.
Now, that was just my point. My concern is if you're driving through data certain on the all you see is popsicles. It's just he's sticking up. We already have one like 57, 47 popsicle signs on our freeway. Who do we want to allow? I don't want to regard businesses. I like to encourage more monument signs. Food for business. Of course, that's only going to work if you're on the same. Really starts to look ashy. I don't like it personally. See, coming up 40 signs. I don't know if it's something we want to throw it out, consider it. I think it could demean what your first impression of
Mhm.
Willows is be. Look up, and see, and especially when businesses leave and you have a dozen of them that are empty.
We do have, and we trying to get better about enforcing language that they stay in good billboards, good condition. I think if you're good with this, we can look into some best practices of what some other municipalities, I'm sure it's a thing, and how they might limit those and get to you guys. That works. big pole sign.
60-foot sign says. Put this, says best.
Oh, you mean like the ones at the new mall areas, I-5 or? Well, there's
Gas
so many
stations and all
on
that.
one of those popsicle signs, I can't read them.
But Berlin had his sign. Station. Sign. Worth of that. Don't want to. It doesn't. But it- Any kind.
Monuments.
The individual.
Now's the time to at least have this discussion.
That's a normal. Sometimes they're not on the same property. They'll lease the space, but it's usually the.
I understand what you're saying. I see it hard. The way that-
Dark.
Yeah. The only way that I can see that being done, so create an ordinance or limit being too small.
Good luck.
What's great?
So it's an item. Find that end up where it's gas stations.
Yes, ma'am.
Trying to.
I wasn't talking to the microphone. My apologies. Just the number of these 60-foot pole signs is a
Page
concern for how attractive Willows could be coming on the freeway.
And so we'll look into some prohibitive language that other municipalities have used. Like I said, it's got to be out there.
I mentioned it to the two ladies at our last meeting before they left.
Okay.
There's 47, huh, Rick?
There's a bunch.
That would
Oh.
be too.
You don't even notice it, but between the
So on page 89, Joe,
Franklins
there's
old ones that are not
right in the middle of the
used.
page.
and all the rest of them, there's a
The
lot.
section expired on July 1 of
You got
2012.
KFC, you've got. all that.
Which one? 89?
Page 89 in the
East.
middle, temporary economic stimulus
All the way up.
regulations.
Oh, yeah.
We take it out.
Yep. That was actually one on my notes too.
Is that Lori?
The page
Page 89.
89, temporary economic stimulus regulations.
Yeah, that was on mine, yeah.
2012.
Yeah,
Do we need to, maybe we need to, we need economic stimulus.
Yeah, maybe one will be coming.
Yeah, I had
but-
that expired, so we're just deleting it, page 89.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that first part of not yet.
The top of it is.
Now, the posting banners and handbills, that I think stemmed out of yard sales, stuff being plastered everywhere when people were doing yard sales. And so that was to discourage them.
Which is good, but it is very hard.
In
Now
the,
you see
in that,
little signs.
in that area, I've seen it a couple times where there are more public boards where those actually posted in. So it's consolidated. I don't know if that's something that we could as like city, like,
Mhm.
hey, we're gonna do it, say at our parking lot in the downtown area, we're gonna have a community board area where people can go around and staple up their advertising for guitar lessons and then their yard sale or whatever, rather than it being taped to a pole.
Not a bad idea.
They have that at the post office.
The
Yeah,
chamber
that, yeah, there's a couple around. I just didn't know if there was a way like
Bigger public facing one.
bigger public, like in the more predominant areas, maybe like talk to like St. Monica's church because their poles are always being tagged with yard sale signs. Or maybe the the donut shop or something like that wants to put something up like that.
I think that's definitely something to look in.
That's just an idea for that. If we're gonna really start being stringent on, hey, put posting yard sales on every telephone pole you can find.
People use,
Mm-hmm.
But it
It's
still
just-
is.
It's just tacky.
Well, and it's not necessarily that I don't mind them doing that because I'm like, ooh, yard sale.
Yeah.
Let's go see what they got.
Well, they don't.
Somebody's junk.
Yep.
It's gonna
It'd
be
be
my
nice to have
treasure.
a central location. To
Yeah.
People know to like, hey, I'm bored. I'll go look at this and see what's going on Saturday or advertise. like
But
that.
then if you can like regulate it to like, let's say this business is going to put that up or the city is, then okay, when they expire, they're actually being taken down and
Yeah. And pulling the 500
Pulling.
staples out of the board and
pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than it being left on there until it blows off one day and it's a tumbleweed through Westwood Street. So onward and upward, page 91. Everyone okay with where we're at?
administrative use permits.
So do we really do public hearings for our admin? Notice them and send out notices to property owners within 300 feet?
So the administrative use permit, so looking at this, there's things in the code in previous sections that can be approved through an administrative process that are referenced. So we've done those before, but to me, the administrative use permit like should not have a public hearing by the planning commission. We're going to make it an administrative use permit. It's an administrative use permit. It's approved through us, by us, and it's something that doesn't rise to the
Staff
level
Right.
of it.
Yeah, but this was specifically saying an administrative public hearing.
Yeah, and no, we don't. I mean, so all the permits that we've done that like a live and sign permit that gives the city manager the ability to approve or the option to go to a planning commission public hearing for design review. So I don't think we've ever issued an actual administrative use permit.
those that need to be,
But I think
I would
the
want-
public. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not public.
And you don't do 300-foot notices.
No, we don't, because it's not public.
That's what I just wondered, is this
It
section need to
should-
be
should
modified?
not be a
Any
public-
reference,
And this would be for administrative use. So this wouldn't be for a sign permit. That's a whole different process because that's a sign permit. This is use issue,
Mhm.
right? So what would be an example of administrative? use?
where, I'm gonna go back to my. Is it?
Yeah,
Require hot tub? Be an administrative,
no,
or
I'm trying to think of something.
a fence? Or a
Um,
water heater?
most of the times I see them or kind of like the half variance exemption. I feel like it's what I'm recalling off the top of my head. It can be handled through an administrative use permit, but I can't off the top of my head think where it's listed at.
So it's a catch-all. It's a safety valve just in case.
It's called out and I think it's very small, but I cannot remember off the top. Like I said, we've never actually done one
I think maybe
but
our
it is called out.
What might,
bi-weekly email that you send out to us if we can get an idea of what
yes,
some of these administrative
I-
permits would
yeah.
be if we have a list of that.
I would put maybe.
Yeah, I
at
can
the
tell you for
front
2.5
end of
years,
this,
I haven't ever issued one.
do
Yeah,
some
that's what I mean.
examples, Because I think as you read through this and the layperson in particular, it's, or administratively issuing permits for things like signs and other things. And then we get this administrative. What are we, what is that? So terminology gets, I fall into that
but
trap.
the
It's like
use
I'm
permit,
done administrative.
Well,
But
what
through
about
a public hearing,
What about like when the circus comes? That administrative use,
maybe.
or to post up yard sales.
because, the circus,
don't think-
the 3-day circus on Tehama Street comes in. I think that's
You just
administrative use
proved it
permit.
wrong.
Well, it's the exact
They
same
have-
process as going to the planning commission, except it's city manager.
Which is why here it has the noticing of the property
Yeah,
owners.
the
but
exact same kind of thing, which is,
Would be noticed.
but this is what this calls out.
That's what they're saying. And he just said it'd be exactly the same process as planning commission, except for it's administratively, that process.
Yeah,
So it's what it says here, and it probably said it for a reason. If we use it rarely, do we actually do it?
need it.
Do we
Yeah.
need?
because
it?
I mean, there's
We
the
need it.
administrative hearings versus the administrative. I don't see a need for an admit if we got to go through the same exact thing. Go to the. That doesn't save anybody time.
Right.
No.
So,
That's why I think it'd be good to track down, hey, this is what we'd use this for.
yeah,
And then clean it up so that it's,
or delete it if we don't need it.
yeah.
Because there are some things that are allowed by the city manager. Brought up in earlier chapters, where it says, hey, this doesn't have to go or it can go at staff
You
discretion.
already,
But this is,
Right. So what does it use?
Well,
Or when we have
Sure.
the carnival come.
I don't want to,
survey. Now, that.
yeah,
would
so
be
it's,
an
it's like noticing
Brady
people
Permit to use. golf
who would just.
Well, yeah, it could be. I mean, that's what I'm just
That's
looking
what
for
I'm
them to
asking.
give us. Yeah, I don't know.
like the car and bike show is what you're saying, like.
What?
don't
Park
know,
bike
they
show.
go right out.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I would think, I would guess like special event type things.
Yeah.
But I think that's where, I think,
Yeah.
like I said, I think that's where we'd like to probably see a list of, hey, these are some of the ideas or areas where we would use this. Do you want to hold this under something else? You want to keep
Yeah.
it separate as an administrative use permit, or
If the
What
circus
do you
is
wanna do?
coming to town, the staff can probably make that decision and not have to go to it. So we could put language on those things that these can be administratively approved, not have an administrative use permit.
yeah,
And then
Yeah,
it
we
comes
just
back
planning.
down to, do we call that a event? 'Cause
It's an
if
event.
it's an event, it's a whole different animal. For our different. I think-
We'll do some research into
Yeah.
what we actually have falling under this and if it's needed and we can put that out. My guess is it's probably not. If it's something that we've got to do the whole process to
Yeah.
anyways. But we, yeah.
so there I go flipping extra pages.
Well,
Literally do.
No,
That's-
Well, I'm guessing this is,
Wait, you only had to notice the adjacent property. There was no public noticing property. You
Yeah.
need to know what you're doing. They'd have
Yep.
like 30 days.
yeah, well, this is in the code for reasons.
Yeah.
I'm-
Well, and we may find out,
I'm thinking it's a catch-all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and can we eliminate the public hearing portion of it and the noticing and do those, let me
Definitely.
streamline it. So it may just be,
Add examples.
Yes.
yeah,
People know
Yes.
what-
I do like that idea. So we'll let you guys work on that, and we'll move on to conditional use permits.
No.
Page 93.
Continue to look for definitions for major use and minor use. We have different fee schedules for those. There's different decision making in the next chart. And we've never defined those. So, what's major and what's minor. And I think that's important for applicants to know, if it's full blown CEQA, I think that's where it kind of falls into major. And if there's no CEQA, if it's a mitigated neg deck, I think it's minor, but it would be nice to actually spell that out.
yeah, and I don't think we have, it doesn't even speak, not only not defined, but doesn't speak to it anywhere in the whatsoever.
Other than master fee schedule and decision. See on another chart, it's a different decision.
Gotcha. So we want to add a definition and equal being definition. I think that's,
Probably, I think
I
that's
think
what.
that's, yeah, like that.
Is that where you would still require a public hearing for a minor? And then like a major, you would still have a,
Mitigated neg deck is just, there's not all this environmental work that has to be
Mhm.
done, so it's cheap, there's more work. And
yeah. Well, and I'm just looking at it, it says no, it's a public hearing. I'm like, well, if it's minor, do they need a public hearing? If it's not,
It would-
They both got to go for a conditional use permit, whether it's
Okay.
major or minor, it would still have to do it, but the amount that we charge is different. The amount that we take as a deposit, because of the amount of presumed extra work. So I really like the environmental review being a split for that.
variance, are we good to go on to just onto the complete next section, or do you want to go to page 94?
Anything else on conditional use? I mean, I'm good with that.
So I know there's objective standards in the Board of Architectural Review now.
Mhm.
On page 94 here, under 2, it just talks about, do we want to reference objective standards or whatever here? Because it's just talking about things that might be operated or maintained will not be detrimental to public health, safety, welfare, or material injuries to properties or improvements. A lot of that's subjective. So I just don't know if we want to, at some point, start referencing objective standards. Because that's in the architectural review stuff. And that's just a question for Delaney and
Yeah.
Page.
that was on
For
94.
revocation, right?
94, I said little number 2 near the top of the page. just for the findings, so that, findings are based on objective standards, which are articulated elsewhere.
Real quick, at 8:17, Vice Mayor Thomas is going to be stepping away, asking to be excused. Just wanted to note that for the record.
Heard my absence, but
Want to do variance?
So just really quick on the CUPs, when it references a hearing officer under, near the bottom, under extension.
Hmm. Not being defined or,
Well, it just says they apply to the hearing officer. Normally they would be applying to the planning department, or, a hearing officer, if they're just asking for an extension. Yeah, it just hasn't really showed up. Anyway, I just said, is it a person or is it just go to the,
I want to make it define who is this? Anything else on variances?
variances, I guess, just to be really clear. So variances, it says include area, height, yard, and space requirements. But we talked earlier, variances are not typically for, from variance parking, a variance for signing, variance for fences. Are they literally just a variance from the use perspective tied to zoning?
It can be for different things, but we try to really planning. Going to have them narrow it, because leave it too broad, like it, the people go, well, I could just get a variance, give me a variance. Just, so it's a sort of a slippery, but it's want to have it something, maybe there's something super attenuated up, and so try to limit it.
But if someone could demonstrate a practical difficulty, unnecessary hardship, some other reason, they could.
510 Wood Street. So when he wanted to move forward with that change, so what staff did in that case said, you have a right to make this case, get us the information, but we did not support the recommendation to do that. So that's clear example of,
Give somebody an opportunity, but it doesn't mean it's not a guarantee.
and we still require them to submit that hardship documentation.
It
Yeah,
has to be a
yeah,
basis.
yeah.
I just didn't know if you just couldn't even consider it, right? If it
Yeah,
was off.
so we try to be, as open if the applicant wants to do it, but staff, staff, we let him know that staff would not support this, and that's,
These reasons. and-
we can do it, but this, yep, exactly.
I could see variance coming into play with people are doing heating poles or something along those, interfering with, so they have to move sort of a setback, maybe get variance for something like that would be.
Yeah, older buildings and issues, right, lot sizes and all that.
Well, it's like my backyard. I have a telephone
Yeah,
pole there,
absolutely.
the alley, but it has one. They call them the support cables.
Mhm.
It's at an angle,
Other than
so I
that-
couldn't put my garage where I wanted to.
Yeah.
Because of
Because of a guy wire.
guide wire. Thank you,
And that's
guide
what
wire.
those variances are for the one-offs,
Mhm.
thing, but
Yeah.
definitely don't want to encourage, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want if I, right? And
Mhm.
that's the
Yeah, well, it's
balancing.
a safety.
Mm-hmm. All right, architectural board of review.
Okay, you planning commissioners,
There you
wake
go,
up.
folks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
grab your
Did you bring your
coffee.
black robes?
It's the finish line. So,
And real
Um,
quick, we are coming up on our time limit of our 3 hours. Seeing that we're getting pretty close to the end, is everyone okay with finishing this out this evening?
Yeah, push
Okay.
through, push through.
Quick.
okay, anybody on page 97?
Get time and a half.
Page 90, page 98?
You're paid by the hour?
The only thing I'm going to comment on, a lot of this talks about the approved color palette, and I think that's a discussion, not for here tonight at all,
Yep.
but that's a discussion to fine tune that with the planning commission. So so that it's very clear what,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
Every variant beige,
Yes.
that's home.
And we can definitely do, I mean, we've been on the.
Are we
color
talking
for-
about earth tones yet?
We have wood tones, earth tones, and,
But that's all we're
Because-
gonna say. We're not gonna say anything else about them tonight.
No.
Just-
Because, well, earth tones are every color in the spectrum.
and
Okay.
really,
Gonna revisit the,
Good.
Yeah, not tonight.
Because earth tone is any color
On Earth.
on earth. Blue, black, red, yellow, green, they're all earth tone. I just want to say that.
Thank you.
Jeez.
we will clarify that at a
Anyway,
later
you're welcome.
time.
right,
Um,
right. So
You want me to expand?
Mhm.
Page 99.
99. All right. All right, Bobby's moving it along. 99.
fine on my end.
So typically design review, just to clarify for newer people too, design review typically comes after it's already been approved by engineering. A lot of the mechanical aspects are done. Coming from design review.
I would say no on that, just because of the fact that normally we like, so the planning design review piece would normally come with the CUP or just a straight design review. And it's hard to get applicants to commit to full plan design before they're gonna know that the design could be drastically changed by the planning. So if they come in and, I don't like your shrubs here, I've just spent all this money on full plan development. Now we need to move it somewhere else. So we normally want to get conceptual designs, elevation. Go forward.
That would,
due to
the reason I asked that, because it talks about they'd be looking at drainage facilities. you'd
Yeah,
have
I would like to
connection.
remove those things. They're not important to design review and they should be handled by the civil engineer and the building department.
That's stuff that says that's what they're gonna, supposed to get.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Stuff. So I would just look through that section and say, you know, if there's stuff here that's not relevant to
Yeah.
design review, maybe just take it out of here.
Because
So it's not.
Design review, you know, if the property drains, that's gonna be handled by the back end of it. Having so much stuff. And also I'd like to just draw, and I'm not gonna try to drag this out, but where we have matters subject to review on page 97, physical improvements as used herein may include, but are not limited to, land improvements, removing of natural ground cover. So if a business wants to remove ground cover, we're gonna make them come for a design review. Seems very over the top. I'd
That's
like to
insane.
peel this back
Yeah.
drastically. Especially with removal or things that are happening after the building is done. I get installation of fences, retaining walls, when in conjunction with a new building. But if a resident wants to put up a fence and it's legal right with code, do we taking, nobody's gonna do. Be the matter
So-
subject to,
I don't know if this is the
New
proper
con-
place or not,
yeah,
but when it comes to our fences, I do believe we have a 6-foot limit.
yeah, it's a
On the
building
height?
code.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to see that changed for residential areas backing up to control zones. The reason why I say that is noise and traffic. A
we can, yeah,
great example is no, I don't think it goes here.
Yeah.
And I don't know, now maybe that's a later conversation. And
What height?
I'm
are
more
you
of
on?
which, well, I think some people would like an 8-foot tall fence because if you're trying to think here, let's say where Willow's Glass and the Coyote and
Like
all
people
those are,
park
they're
there.
on the main street, right? You have all those homes right there. I'm sure they would like a taller fence
Yeah.
to help keep out the light,
yeah.
maybe some
A
of
lot
the noise when they're talking
have-
about. I do apologize. It's fire
that's-
calls. It passes my.
Just, I don't know what our code says on it. I know. most
Right.
people-
And I feel like that's just a little bit more privacy in certain situations like that. And especially with the way homes here have
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
built up for floodplains.
Yeah,
I mean, my 6-foot fence between me and my neighbor, I get a wave high to them sitting in my living room. If
So
they're
I
in their
think what we-
kitchen in the back door.
we can check that. I don't know what it says in our building portion of it.
Mhm.
And I think normally it's the 6-foot standard, or you must get a building permit or a CUP or something above that, but we may restrict it and it may be overly restrictive.
Well, it's for public safety. It's for police and fire to jump over fences.
Yeah, but you can legally go above, you can go above it if I think there is an avenue to do it. It just requires extra. paperwork, so, but we can check
Okay.
that.
I just wanted to make sure that was at least an option for people.
Yeah.
Whether
It
they
should be.
like.
But especially when the business doesn't
Mhm.
post.
Yeah.
Like
Like I
Because I
get
planted an only under edge along my back fence for the same reason.
get that extra privacy screen. Absolutely. That's what they do.
Joe,
Yes.
what about what you just said,
Yep.
item E? I understand what you're saying as far as if they want to make it better, but what if they went the other route and just took everything out so they didn't have to do anything and made it look like an eyesore?
Well, is anybody going to come to the architectural board of review and
Probably not either way.
do
actually.
that? And
Yeah.
that's what I mean. I mean, if it's an eyesore, is for an existing building to remove all their landscaping. Does government get in the way of that? It just seems so over. The removing of bushes, business. To bush. Seems to-
I mean, unless we're.
Yeah.
They have,
Yeah.
to-
That's
a great bear.
they have to have 30 feet of clearance around all.
Yeah.
That's our code.
It's, that's over.
So I think, and I'm just bringing this up because I see these things and it just seems egregious to say, hey, we're gonna remove ground cover. Oh, we're gonna make you go through. Yeah, that's $1,000.
No, I totally get all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'm
no, no.
just saying if they totally took everything out so they didn't have a water bill and
And,
then it made everything look dry or.
and the only way, no, totally understand that too. And what we can do on the approval of new businesses and monitoring of conditions of approval. I'm going to bring up the commissary. They stated that X, Y, and Z bushes. Number one, making sure that they do that, and then it states that they're in good condition. So then we could come in and feel that not a fix all, but to me, these things are just impossible. Some of these are just impossible.
So I would, you just have to look at it all because you don't want them taking out sidewalks and curbs.
No, for sure.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
just talking.
So
I'm talking
just-
the
yeah,
landscaping, some
just
of that
some
kind of stuff
right.
was just kind of.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I-
and we've got to have like the sidewalks and all those. But yeah,
I think what we're juggling all the time is private property rights and making things user friendly for business and also always.
Yeah, right.
So it's that balance, what someone doesn't want the water bill and they're going to make things that's a good business decision for them and people driving by think it's horrible and maybe their neighbor doesn't like it because it affects their business. And so our job is to find something that balances all that out
Yeah.
hard.
and I will give it to this piece of it too on 18-141-040 on 98. We do have matters exempt from review, work which has been determined by the building official to be minor incidental with the intent and objective. We do have that, kind of catch all of, oh, we're not gonna take it. But I think listing some of the landscaping stuff was, okay, that's a little much.
Nitpicky.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
and we're never going to be able to please everyone.
No.
So for the
Uh,
greater good.
Anything else on 98? 99?
And you're going to address the colors because
Yeah, we're
talking
gonna-
about earth tone and wood tone.
Full ongoing piece.
Okay.
100?
I think as we're having the conversation about the requirements, as we look at even some of what's on these pages, when you get to the bottom and 11 is talking about landscaping.
Mhm.
And it'll be maintained in good condition and all those things, it's not a conditional use permit. We can't put conditions on it. So we can put it in our code. So
Yes.
we could choose to enforce it. But again,
But if you want people to come to Willows and you want all these new businesses, you have to take care of Willows. It
Mhm.
has to look pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, I agree. And it doesn't because there are property owners that don't care, unfortunately.
I think one of the biggest. We are trying to.
Mhm.
Really like, just garbage and it
Mm.
respond everything. Tell us every day, but the bigger projects, dumping, 600 Humble, chronic, like trying to really get our hands around chronic code enforcement issues. So we're start there and get those cleaned up, go to the next level. And I think that is really helpful. And I think something that we can do and nobody's going to say, no, 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 leave that there. We
Garbage-
don't have to worry about
Garbage
having
cans
a
not-
lot of like
Including
disagreement.
garbage
Yeah.
cans, not dumpsters,
Yeah.
not dumpsters. Major bill, but
And I think on our code enforcement with our weed abatement, figuring out a way, I know our annual weed abatement program is wonderful, but we look good for like 1 month out of the
For a
whole
month.
year. And so especially for our bigger parcels, a lot of those are out of area owners. Once those things get to be 10 inches tall, they should be getting a notice.
like right now,
You
they're
know.
2 feet right now.
Well, and they're going to get mowed. So they wait until they have to do it.
I love it when people like call about real code enforcement stuff and they submit a code enforcement. I mean, I am everybody in Marysville's worst nightmare. I'm all over that. Even my neighbors, I've had people come up and say, did you call me? Yeah, that's a code enforcement violation. Yeah.
You know, recently with the.
With the tall grass.
Well,
like,
it's
that kind of
property
thing.
owner responsibility, right? Do the right thing.
Some of it's public safety.
Because I'm just saying, like Lori, not weed abatement process isn't finished with abatement. For everybody that got a card, that pay attention. Did their once a year mow, it's already 2 feet high again.
Yeah, with the rain and everything. It's been
Yeah, so
pretty
anyway,
bad.
it just drives me.
And I just want to say with the landscaping where it's how it's listed in this language, I like that. I like that it says maintaining. It was just hey, if you go take something out, you're going to need to do this. Like
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. But
Whatever you have, maintain it.
yeah. And yeah, we just, yeah, absolutely. So I don't mind it in those spots. It was just what is when you come to us, you know, if you do this, you should come to us over the top. Anything else on architectural board of review? Obviously, we're going to work on the colors and
I think also the historic downtown Wood Street design guidelines, single family residential and multifamily residential design guidelines. Those are documents we're continuing to reference. I think they're all on the website, so they're still relevant. But I think as we talk about color palette also, I think looking at all of those, make sure they're still relevant. We have a brand new planning commission. I mean, even a study session where you're going through those and really familiarizing yourself with them. Is this what we still want those to look like? They're getting older. Documents go.
we can look for grant funding, RBDG, the new cycle maybe.
It is
to
good,
fund that.
really good to revisit design
Absolutely.
guidelines.
Mhm.
It's changed,
It's right.
you know, mindsets change about what's visually, you know.
And if we say that, those are what we're going to follow, and then, we don't really know what they look like and they're not, maybe they should have copies in the drawers up here. So during a planning commission meeting, I mean, just something that's available.
And I think we've got some opportunities for grant funding to maybe update those studies and we can pay a consultant to figure out our color palette.
This is a chapter.
Yeah, I think we've got, enough to make changes to it.
Where, Lori, just for my reference, what the,
It's
Different
the
sections?
downtown, it
Where were you?
is the
It's
historic downtown guidelines. There's Wood Street design
what
guidelines.
page are we?
Oh, I'm sorry, page 101, here at the top, number 14, here at the top, talks about this. Well, I think, I don't
Okay.
have,
pretty
we'll
good
note
to wrap
that,
it up with that. If nobody has any other comments or.
Hey, Keith.
Sounds like
Right.
the architect.
At 8:36, Keith Corum has left the meeting.
We should,
Have a good night. Huh? No, I think we'll try and power through it
Hey, Keith.
instead of having a third meeting. I mean, it's
Oh, no.
15
No.
pages left. Yeah. no.
please no.
on page 104, so they have tier 1 administrative design review and then tier 2 board design review. So they kind of break that out, what staff can do, what needs to come to the design review board. It just seems like we're missing something. So under administrative review, they can do minor exterior additions to existing commercial buildings under 2,000 square feet. And then under what goes to the planning commission or the architectural review board is new building constructions exceeding 10,000 square. But it's like, where's stuff under
Where's
that?
the other 8,000?
Yeah, I mean, I just felt like there was missing stuff.
Yeah, one's existing and one's new, but still we need to say if under 10,000 feet, it would go to us. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
We're doing new and old.
well, any
That's-
commercial stuff would seem like if it's new would go to the architectural Anyway, when I read that, I felt like it's confusing. I didn't figure it out. I just thought I'd point.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then SB 330 talks about objective design standards. So there's state law that says just that we have to do those, or do they give objective? I think we see those in somewhere. So again, I'm just curious if that's again dictated by the state.
On page 105E. That,
Yeah, 105B, it's talking about it. It referenced it under limitations of authority on page 104.
okay.
We have to comply with SB 330. So I'm assuming that a lot of the stuff all this stuff is right. This is all new.
Yes.
So I'm here we
Well, I don't know what the DAR stands for in the table,
that would be the plan.
but what is planning director, administrative permit, and their planning director says D, planning commission says A, city council says A. What does the letter D stand for? What does the letter A stand for?
Oh, you have to read it. It's in the black that you can't. Is a recommendation. D is decision.
It's convoluted. I finally figured it out.
Oh, I see it up there now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's either the deciding authority or they're the appeal board. But
So
it's hard to read.
Rick does have a note on here. He says on page 105, it says, project that city determines, he wrote down C5 staff referral. Any project the city manager determines due to its unique location and complexities requires discretionary review to protect the welfare. But he mentioned that that same chart, city manager is not listed anywhere. So should you be listed in there as,
In the summary table of review on.
so yes, so should there not be a column there for city manager?
Yes.
Well, I think city manager or planning director probably somewhat interchangeable.
I would
Yeah,
recommend it
reach
be
like-
like city manager or
Yeah.
Does-
his or her designee.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Delete that.
Because
planning
that is-
director.
So swapping out the planning director for city manager / designee.
But I think you don't want
Well, that
the
gives
city
you,
manager
like,
not to weigh in at all.
Yes.
then you have the flexibility you need. You can,
Most of the code previous to this is going to be at the city manager discretion or
Okay,
even
that's
outside of
discretion.
this.
But
yeah.
when you're saying planning director, I mean, technically referring to not you,
No,
planning, but no, our
No,
planner,
no.
would you not be?
the contract planner.
Planning
See?
director, is the term, but community services director has,
I'm a director
City.
title over planning, so
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
it does include to me.
when
But still, that's not, this isn't your title, so it just needs to
Yeah.
be clear.
Yeah,
City manager doesn't,
yeah, yeah. That,
or CM, or go ahead and put acronyms.
And then
I
if
think
we're gonna,
designee's better because we always, actually, we would go to the planner anyways and say,
Okay.
yeah.
so what do you think about this? And then we would be the final say after for the
Yeah.
expert subject.
and then instead of it saying city manager, it's say city manager and it's designee or however you want to. But I think that's how those should read out. That was his question, not mine, so.
Okay.
I'll give credit where credit's due.
It was
Some-
on 106.
Yeah. We'll go at 106.
It's two. 105, 106.
just figured those last pages are, to me, the
Not
last
for the
pages are
new-
all what we have to have from the state. So I just.
Okay,
looking at
that
them.
sounds. All right. So everything remaining.
Double check that. Yeah, some of it almost seems a little, I'm thinking the very end of it is good. I'll double check that. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Gretchen, you still awake?
I am. I'm just having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
What'd you say? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, is that, any other comments on that? Obviously, we'll come back and have some suggestions for the architect.
On 112, we have the table of allowed uses. How come nothing's checked?
Sorry?
On page 112, table of allowed uses. goes through and there's nothing checked in there. Is there supposed to be?
Not yet. I think they said this is how they'd like to put a table. And once we formalize things and we've agreed to what's in each zone, then they can put the checks in. So it'd be the quick check.
Gotcha.
Quick check.
Quick check, check. So the mobile or the food truck piece is a big piece. If we could get something to look at on that,
Mhm.
that would be a biggie.
From Harris or the example we talked?
Or the example, something, whatever we're going to kind of start from. I mean, if you want more feedback from us, I don't know how you want to do that, but I mean, if there's a template out there and the city's already gone through the pain and suffering of putting it together,
Yeah.
maybe just seeing what they've done and we can comment on it individually.
Get that
Yeah.
Shasta Lake.
And then we
Yeah,
can
you-
get that to Harris to massage into the,
I just emailed that.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
We are. With that, is there any further public comment? We have this open to public comment. I mean, you hung out, might as well give you an opportunity to say.
I mean, why not, right? I think the color palette thing for downtown is very important. Since I am a secretary of the Arts and Culture Council, I think we definitely need more expression. And a lot of people downtown are saying that they're saying, hey, we need to do more of this and we need more art in downtown, including murals. So that's very important. That's one of the top things on people's minds, as well as signs. So
So,
I'd have to get more information from them on that, but that's pretty much all I have for now.
what I would like to see, I would like to see something in there when we're talking about paint colors, that murals be excluded from our color palette,
Yeah.
because if we're going to use wood tones as our color palette, I think that might not make
Be a
it
little
great.
blasé.
You know, I mean, some murals are pretty vibrant and they're beautiful. They draw your eye, and that's what we want. So I think make sure that there's something in there that we can get a yeah.
But we'll have a process to make sure that it's not
Different.
too wild, but
Yeah,
is acceptable, right? And
sand tones only. Like that
Yeah.
sounds pretty boring.
Yeah.
Minor.
All right.
All right.
it is
So with that, we will call this meeting to adjournment at 8:45. Thank you and have a good night.
Night,
Thank you
Gretchen.
all.
Night, Gretchen.
Thanks,
Cool.
Gretchen.
No,
Thank you, Gretchen. Good night.